we're trying to get the job done as well as you want the job done.
We've got a 5 or 6 page document that goes through and asks questions. How do you live? How do you get ready in the morning?
We want it to all go smoothly, but that's not always the case.
I feel like it's a therapy session when we first meet. It's like...
Hello and welcome to the Charleston Design Center. I'm Chris, and we are very honored today to host the Designer Builder Roundtable. This is Jessica. She is in charge of designer and builder relations and trade sales here. And we want to thank Janon for having here at our place.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. This is my first time hosting a Home Design Roundtable here at Charleston Design Center. And I've got an exciting panel set up for you of some amazing people, professionals that you'll want to meet and get to know. So let's get started with our Home Design Roundtable. First, I'd like you all to introduce yourselves and tell us about your business and your design style and how you got started.
Sure, I'll start. I'm Emily Watson. I own this whole house. Many moons ago, I was in a vacation rental world where I owned a property management company. And so all of those facets of that are very interconnected, whether it's real estate, management, renovating. And so I did a lot of that for my clients, just advising them on wise choices as far as generating income. And then in 2011, bought my first foreclosure, renovated it myself. And that's really when I got the itch for renovating, partly because there's something really amazing about seeing a space that is old and unloved and just has sort of grown and nobody took care of it. And the way that I was able to fix it up and bring life to it and then make money doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So got the itch for that. In 2018, built my own company renovating houses called This Whole House. And during COVID, when the world shut down, I found myself as a stay-at-home homeschool mom because I couldn't leave. And while I was there at home with the kids, I got my degree for interior design through New York Institute of Art and Design. And so at this point, I've sort of honed my company to be a small boutique style renovation company where I tailor my projects specifically towards the clients because ultimately they're spending a lot of money and they're investing and I'm responsible for that. And so I really spend time listening to them, hearing their dreams, their goals, and bringing their vision to life.
Awesome.
My name is Tim Winter. I'm the president and founder of Paradigm Homes and also HomeLux Architecture. At Paradigm, we specialize in helping our clients design and build a custom home or custom addition renovation projects. I've been in this industry since probably I was 7-8 years old. My dad used to buy houses, fix them up, rent them out, and I was free labor. So my dad using that, learning from that skill set, I eventually learned how to ask for money and progressed as I kind of moved along. And at 18, I bought my first house, renovated it. My dad was actually my first employee. So we kind of switched roles there for a little bit. But then from there, I went to school, came out of school, and worked for a national builder for about 7 years. And that's really where I learned the home building business. And through that, we've created processes and systems that a production builder usually does because they're very streamlined. We brought that into the custom world. So coming into the custom world, we've really been able to help our clients achieve their dreams and desires, designing and building, unique homes that fit their lifestyle, their needs, what they want, not what we, the builder, think they should have, but what is it that they want. And so a few years ago, I started HomeLux Architecture as an opportunity to serve our clients because now we have the ability to control the whole process and help our clients really see their dreams come to life. And we can streamline the timeline that it takes to go through the design and the build process together. So it's been a really double impact as we get to work with our clients to help design something that really fits what they want.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
All right, I'm going to shift it up a little bit. I'm not renovation based. So I'm Brittanya with Brittanya Tammearu Interiors, and we are a residential interior design firm for really men starting over. So what that means is really just anyone in a transition period of either divorce or just relocation. And we do that through full furnishing design and minor aesthetic enhancements. So no demo reno. And we really focus on kind of just changing the entire vibe of the room versus doing the full demolition. So we like to elevate any homes, basically through practicality and functionality. And really our firm is very process driven. So organization is really key for us as well. I think that kind of goes with the renovation side as well. Because you just got to make the flow of the house, because there's always unforeseen circumstances, even in the furniture world. So just being on our toes and really kind of, bringing homes to life. So
That's phenomenal. And like I said, a phenomenal group. And I'm excited to have you all share your expertise and knowledge with my clients and friends. And just get started. Start at the beginning. How do each of you approach your initial design consultation with your clients? Brittanya?
So we actually kind of really just dive into like your lifestyle and how you want the home to operate. So whether it's an old home that you're moving into, so it's new to you, or it's an existing space that you've already had, kind of really diving into what works and what doesn't work, and just kind of backtracking from there, just to make it, your own space and what you really want to see and have accomplished in there.
And from the design and build perspective, Tim, what's that process like for you?
Yeah, so for us, very similar. We want to understand the client's lifestyle, but so with us, we've got a 5 or 6 page document that goes through and asks questions. How do you live? How do you, get ready in the morning? What's your, kids, agenda? What does all that look like? So for us, we're really trying to get in to understand who the client is, what they want, and how we can design a home and that is functional for how they live and how they, want to explore their lifestyle.
So, Emily, tell us, how do you set realistic expectations with your clients? I know there's a whole world of exciting things. There's TV that gives us suggestions, and homeowners that may not realize what their budget can or cannot do. How do you set realistic expectations?
That's a good one. I think from the start in that initial consultation, well, first of all, I feel like it's a therapy session when we first meet. It's like, my kids always joke, they're like, you're like a therapist, but I have to be, because you get to know who the person is, what their motivations are, what their lifestyle is, what their budget is. Like, these are very invasive questions that you have to ask them. But when you sort of have that foundation of the relationship with them, and they trust you enough to spend sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to manage this project for them, that like we can't be afraid to have that conversation of like, this is the budget, these are the items in the budget, and share it with them, so they can see it. And then also creating a timeline that's realistic. And I think the biggest piece of the puzzle is not being afraid to communicate with them. So as it's a living and breathing thing, like as we're renovating, as things are happening, as we discover things, not being afraid to call them or show up or sit down with them and say, I know we said that, drywall was going to be $10,000, but now there's something that we discovered and we've got to, fix the framing, there's termites, whatever, and having the honest conversations about change orders, budget numbers, timeline. The other thing about setting expectations is making sure they know in advance that every time they change their mind, it costs money. So every time, they see something on HGTV or on social media, it's nice that it was free for those people, but for us, it costs money, And so just not being afraid to have honest conversations with them, I think.
That's fantastic. And Tim, have you ever had any challenges with regards to expectations?
Never in 17 years have I had any expectation challenges. But I think the big thing is exactly it. How do you sit down and approach that from a therapist kind of perspective of understanding who the client is and how they communicate, and how you communicate to them is just as important, because sometimes some people may get it, right, especially depending on the profession that they're in, they get it. Others don't understand any of it, so you have to probably explain it like they're kids multiple times over and over again, and not meaning to be degrading, but it's like you're trying to help them, but sometimes they're hurting themselves. So how can you kind of funnel them back in to understand that here's the expectation, here's how this is going to happen? Because going through a process like this, whether it's a small renovation to a large custom home, there's an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
And you've got to be prepared when that roller coaster takes that deep dive, because it's going to happen. They'll get design fatigue. They'll get caught up in watching, the design plans are done. All of a sudden, they go on Instagram like, oh, look at this. I want to change this. And then they go back up and they come in and you shut it down because it's going to cost them another $100,000. And then they're back down here. So it's trying to balance that emotional roller coaster. And it's a fun endeavor sometimes, but then it's also a challenge to where you just got to be honest. You just got to say this is how it is. Unfortunately, this is going to take more time and it's going to cost more money.
Yeah, and always follow up in writing.
Yeah. Yes.
So today we talked about it's going to be whatever.
Exactly.
It would be domino effect real quick.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when we're talking about, like you said, there's all kinds of amazing trends on Instagram. Brittanya, what's your approach to some of the newer trends and what's your style perspective?
So trends, I feel like truly is like a loaded word. Because what's trendy to someone else might not be trendy to another individual. So, there's like two types of trends, right? You got trendy trends and then you've got timeless trends. Someone that might think something is timeless might be trendy to someone else, right? For example, I know that we had the cascading waterfall backsplash with the countertops. That was a big trend for a while. It might still be going strong. I'm not sure. I don't normally design that way towards the trends. It really we're very client focused and we kind of adapt the design style from there. So we don't generally lead towards trends, but I know that I was just in High Point this last weekend and there were a lot of earth tones and we're leaning a little bit more out of the grays, but grays and browns are always going to be the two neutrals. So it really is just personal preference, I think, as far as that goes. I hope I answered that trend question.
Yeah. Perfect. That's perfect.
It's a loaded one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to get your thoughts.
It is, yeah.
So when we're talking about trends also, I know that there's some cutting edge design and new specs in homes. Tim, is there anything that you can share on kind of what we're seeing? I know there's a lot with multi-generational living and some new things that you have to incorporate into your design for that. What have you been seeing?
You're seeing a lot more multi-generational living just because of affordability. So you're seeing families, from different ages, and how can you bring them in? Now you're sitting in these meetings not just with the husband and wife going through this. Now there's the grandparents or the cousin or somebody. There's more people at the table because they're helping to contribute into the project. So it's just trying to balance and create spaces around, communal areas and private areas, or separate, standalone structures if you've got the space on the lot to design for, a guest house or, in-law house. So really, managing that is going back to, again, getting buy-in from everybody that's involved, getting an understanding of what's important to them, and then designing it so that, there's functional spaces. And then with that too, maybe they don't have the older generation living with them yet, but they're planning for the future. What can you do now in the design phase? Okay, maybe this is a playroom now for the kids, but in 5 years you got to do a minor renovation, and now this can be turned into an ensuite bathroom where the parents can stay. So just trying to do some of that, kind of begin with the end in mind mindset when you're going through the design and you're thinking about future multi-generational living, especially with aging parents. Very important to just really kind of get all those expectations laid out in advance.
Emily, have you had to work on any projects that kind of center around the multi-generational living?
Not necessarily multi-generational, but as you were talking, Tim, I was thinking even in the renovation world where if they wanted to phase out a project, like this is my long-term vision. Like I just finished a whole house in Mount Pleasant, but they want to do a phase 2 eventually, which will encompass the outside and adding on like a 4 seasons room and all that. But so when I planned out the renovation, it was doing things so we wouldn't have to do them twice, So like when we rewired the electrical and we did all the demo, we roughed everything in so that we could do a future outdoor space, And so not necessarily multi-generational, but multi-phase projects.
That's important. That's important. That's a good point. So when we're talking about the design process, what are ways that homeowners can plan to increase value in their homes? Are there some special touches or special projects that they maybe want to think about?
I actually talk to clients quite a bit because, so my background was real estate and property management, but when they come to me and they want to renovate a space, one of my main questions is, are you planning to sell your house? You know, everybody's like not planning to sell their house until they're divorced or someone dies or, you know, and then like, oh, suddenly we want to sell. So I say lean away from trends, you know, like the things that aren't expensive to change, I say go for it. Like paint, like if we're talking knocking down walls and tile and fixtures and rewiring things, I would recommend that they do that in a way that is valuable to any person, you know. And so when they plan a project or when they want to plan a project, we come to the table with like the big picture in mind, and so it doesn't make it too confined. And then the other thing that I recommend is like someone's like, well, should I renovate my kitchen? And if they renovate it in a way that's appealing to the general population, I'd say yes. But if you're going to do something super trendy, know that someone's going to come in and renovate it as soon as they buy the house. So just keeping that in mind.
Right. And as a realtor, that's something that I'm always very aware of. How do you all collaborate with your partners across the table and with other industry professionals?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, I think for us, because we've got the in-house architecture and construction team, so there's a lot of collaboration. So in every design meeting, there's somebody from the construction team sitting in that meeting. So if something gets, hey, can we design that? And we've got the building team that can kind of help elaborate on what can be done. You know, not just internally, but also externally. It's looking for right partners like Charleston Design Center, where they've got different opportunities, a lot of experts that can come in. You might have a client looking for a certain product. So really understanding, manufacturers, understanding some of the products that are out there. Spending time in those relationships is key.
It's a continued education for us as well. I mean, there's always new things approaching, new sustainable options, and
too many.
Yeah, I mean, you probably witness a lot more than we do on the furniture side, but because there's very limited options on our side. So, but like, I mean, just continuing education for us as well. Like, so going to High Point, I mean, you're seeing all the things that are coming out. They're not ready now, but they'll be in the first of the year. So really just kind of, meeting with your vendors, continuing the relationships and building from there.
I think it's relationships are a huge part of the process. And I think for us, everybody in this industry, whether it's designers or builders or whatever, architects, everyone brings their own flavor, and someone would hire me for my specific dynamic or my design style, and then someone would hire somebody else for theirs. And so I think it's important for us to see each other as allies, and find your people who you can rely on, and experts. You mentioned like, oh, we found experts to sit at the table. I am not an expert. I surround myself with experts. And, the relationships that we spend time and we build over the years are really important. So the way that we treat our people, the way that we support each other, I think is really huge. And to rely on other people, not like I'm competing with you, but we're all in this together, and we all have
personal
a business.
And there's enough work out there that you can.
You
should be able to cross collaborate and still be able to take care of the client, because at the end of the day, that's the goal.
Right.
So we're going to change gears a little bit, and I want to hear from all of you. How do you approach your work and keep it fun?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
I bring a flask. No, I'm edit that out. I actually don't.
How do we keep it fun? I think for us, really, like I said, we don't necessarily have a specific style that people come to us for. We strictly design for the client in mind and then just adapt from there. So we've gotten calls because we're non-traditional and we kind of more of a challenge. What keeps it fun for us is the challenge, right? I mean, I enjoy the challenge as a designer. It keeps me on my toes, and it just keeps it more intriguing for me to design for, because everyone has different personalities, so I think it's fun to emphasize that in their living space, because it is very important to your environment. It's where you wake up, it's where you go to sleep, right? So it's kind of got a big impact on your life, your home. So I don't know.
For me, I like to solve problems. So usually a client's coming to us with a challenge, right? What's their current living environment? Do you renovate it? Do you tear it down? What's going on? So just being a resource in that is what I really enjoy, right? One of our key core values is solutions architects. So we want to provide solutions. We want to provide value through that way by problem solving. So that's what, you know, gets me out of bed in the morning, because there's always a problem to
Always.
solve.
Yeah. I love people. So I just love being with people in their space. And so for me, what's fun is actually connecting with the client on a level. I have a friend, every time I go out like to a new client meeting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love them. They're so fun. And he's like, you love everybody. And I'm like, no, but this one really, I love them. And so like, if we're not, I think it's picking your clients in a way that you feel comfortable and you can connect with them so that it is fun. You know, like it doesn't, there's problems and there's challenges, and that is like the non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But if we can connect with people that we're working with and like feel a little bit of personal relationship with them, maybe not to an uncomfortable level, but
You have to get invasive.
yeah, I try not to, but I think that's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
Cool. So we talked a little bit about what keeps it fun for you, but you also have to have some downtime. What are ways that you kind of switch off your design brain and just relax? What do you do for fun?
I love to play golf. That's just my, you know, leave the phone in the car sometimes, depending on if it's from out there during work hours. But it's just great to get out there and just, you know, let you know, focus on something else. Like, you know, why won't this damn ball go farther than I want it to, you know? So it's just a good outlet for me.
I think I actually like volunteering. Honestly, it just kind of helps me get away. You have to put your phone away. You can't, you know, you're not in front of technology all the time, because a lot of our job does involve a lot of technology and on your phone or on the computer. But yeah, I think volunteering actually for me is what I enjoy doing, because it's kind of an outlet to meet new people, but also just to get away from all the rest. So
Yeah, for sure. I definitely get to moments where I'm like, I want to run away and hide in a hole and never talk to anybody for like a solid month. Like I just said it a week ago. But then I spent the whole day baking and cooking and doing like snake-shaped
Nice.
stromboli for Halloween and, you know, all the crazy things. And my friends are like, you're a psycho. But it made me so happy. And then I was like, I spent a full day baking and now I can take on the world. So
awesome.
cooking and baking for me is huge.
That's really cool. So we're going to go ahead and start to wrap up, but I wanted to hear from you, each of you, what is one major point that you want to get across to homeowners and your future clients?
major point.
Good one, major point.
Don't believe everything you see on Instagram.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
there's a lot that goes on there. That's obviously with AI, things are
Yeah.
not realistic. But then, you know, then you get, I'll throw the HGTV. You know, the costs aren't, half that stuff's built in Canada. You know, the numbers here in Charleston don't align with those values. So do your research, right? Do your own homework. Don't trust the facts of, you know, what you're seeing, you know, in social media and on TV.
Yeah.
So I try to like maybe expect the unexpected, because I mean things always arise. So just patience, I guess.
Yeah.
Really, because I mean we're trying to get the job done as well as you want the job done. Trust us, we want it. We want it to all go smoothly, but that's
Yeah.
not always the case. So
Yeah, I was going to say flexibility, because it's, you know, the one guarantee is that there are unknowns when you renovate or when you change the style of a home. And so coming into that with the expectation that we are people too, and we do our best to like solve problems before they happen, but being flexible in the process for sure.
Well, awesome. I can't thank you all enough for being here. This has been amazing. All of this information that you shared is so helpful, not only for my clients and friends, but for me as a realtor. This is really special, and I'm really grateful for all of you being here. So thank you all for watching. This has been the Home Design Roundtable. I'm Janon German, Charleston's concierge realtor. If you have any real estate needs, feel free to give me a call. Thanks for watching.